I got that because Tom Petty, ladies and gentlemen, mentioned my state in a song, Louisiana Rain, yesterday. And it got me thinking. I did his solo records, I ranked them, but I have not done, I left you guys hanging on Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, which is arguably a lot bigger of a deal than his actual solo material. Now, is there a difference between Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers and Tom Petty solo? It's virtually the same band, it's virtually the same writing process. It's just one is more southern rock and the other is more rock and roll, but they sound virtually identical. There's a lot of albums to get through here, and there's a lot of really great material, so let's just jump right in to ranking the studio albums by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Now, here's an interesting fact that I just heard yesterday, is that, Johnny Thunders has a rock group called he had a band called the Heartbreakers first. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's rank the studio album by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. So there's not a lot that's bad here. Tom Petty was and is one of the greatest. He's just really great. I grew up on Tom Petty, and my parents were always blasting Tom Petty music through the house in the late 80s, early 90s. And when I became an adult, I listened to Tom Petty too. I've made my dad several Tom Petty compilation albums, and there's so much great material here. There is a little bit to complain about, and we'll jump into that first because we're going from, we always do worst first and then work our way up to the best. And let's see, there are 13 studio albums by Tom Petty. We're going to be talking about each one here today. Go ahead and like and subscribe and share and hit the notification bell, please. Now let's get into this. The Tom Petty albums that sucked. And in my notes, there's only one that says sucks. Yuck. Sucks. This is one, when I was a teenager, I wanted to grab a Tom Petty album, and I found this one at the Jockey Lot. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Let Me Up, I've Had Enough, from '87. And it was just terrible. They're such a great band, and this one is just absolute garbage. The singles just didn't sound like what I wanted it to be. And I revisited it as I've gotten older and thinking that made a difference. No, I still hate this one. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I tend to have a problem with late 80s records, and I don't know why. It's just something about my ears. Just that those late 80s records from virtually every band is just, ugh. Don't like it. Don't like it one bit. Coming in next, sadly, this is the final studio record, Hypnotic Eye. And I was excited in 2014 when this came out, but I did not enjoy it at all. There's 5 singles from this thing, and none of them did anything for me. Really just awful, in my opinion. And you can disagree with me in the comments. That's what this is about. If you disagree, that's awesome. It's awesome. If you are rocking out to Let Me Up and Hypnotic Eye all the time, hey, that's great. Somebody liked it. I know that you're out there. I was about to start singing a song there. I decided not to. Maybe not the video for that. Let's do my third least favorite, is where we're at now. It's again going to be a late era The Last DJ. Now this one, so we've gotten past the garbage, in my opinion. Let Me Up and Hypnotic Eye, just absolute trash. But The Last DJ is decent. The title track is good. You and Me are okay. Money Becomes King is alright. But again, this is not a record that I'm going to be revisiting. I did give it several spins. And yeah, it's just not, again, not what I want from Tom Petty. And just in 2002, for me, doing a lot of these rankings, 2002 is usually a great year for bands to put out a record, but not with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Coming in next, and this one is going to be my meh pick. Echo. It's got a very meh album cover. It's 60 plus minutes. But you know what? Room at the Top is a pretty good song. I hear it all the time at work. And it's pretty good. Okay, now we're getting into the good stuff. In my opinion, the good stuff from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Excuse me. It's going to be, ooh, hey, a late one actually. Not bad. Mojo. Now, this one came out in 2010, and I Should Have Known It was a really great single, and, you know, the rest of it was not bad. The rest of it was pretty darn freaking good, but, again, just the re-listening value of this one is not there for yours truly. It's just not. Okay, coming in next is going to be kind of a unique pick in his discography. Came out, ooh, this is a really great year for music. Oh, it took 4 years to record. I don't know if it was that great. Songs and music from She's the One. This one is an interesting soundtrack / studio record by Tom Petty. And it's got these movements that I really enjoyed. Lucinda Williams is great. Check her out. If Beck Hansen is featured on here as well as a writer. And I really enjoyed The Walls, the Bleep Hole. Yep, I enjoyed The Walls and Bleep Hole. So there you go. The rest of the list is a lot of 70s and 80s. And one 90s record. Ooh, ooh, ooh. This is the tasty stuff. The really freaking sweet southern rock and roll. And what do we got now? What do we got? Again, you know, that song and music from She's the One. I'm not going to be revisiting it, I don't think. But it did have a lot of really pleasurable songs on it that I might check out from time to time, you know, on their own. But we got to get into the really juicy stuff. And we are at 1981's Hard Promises. Released in May 5th. 40 minutes, almost on the dot. And the wait is the hardest part. A Woman in Love, It's Not Me is a popular track, as well as Letting Go and A Thing About You. But The Night Watch Man is pretty good. Something Big, The King's Road. These are really good, really solid Tom Petty tracks. Him and Mike Campbell doing a majority of the creative work here. And 1981's Hard Promises, just, man, it really stays clear of that garbage late 80s sound, because it's in the early 80s, and it's freaking awesome. Can you guys see that my beard has grown since just a while ago? That's because I've screwed up this video. I don't know what happened the first time that I shot this, but I only got like the first few albums. I got less review just to make sure we're back on track. I did Let Me Up, Hypnotize, Last DJ, Echo, Mojo, She's the Whatever, and Hard Promises. That's where we're at now. Those were the ones that a little bit unfavorable in my ranking. Now we're just going to keep better and better and better. Coming in next is going to be You're Going to Get It. Came out in 1978. The critical reception was pretty darn good across the board. And all songs written by Tom Petty, with very few exceptions. This one had, let's see what the highlights are. Listen to Her Heart would be the one that I really gravitate towards on this Heartbreakers release. Coming in next is going to be Long After Dark. Trying to perfect my YouTube voice. Got some work to do, people. Got to lose the southern accent. That's what they tell me. Southern accents. Yay! Tom Petty joke. You got lucky with me telling that joke. Yeah, Long After Dark. Long After Dark came out in late '82, and I absolutely love You Got Lucky, and Change of Heart is pretty good. The third single was Straight Into Darkness, which was a double A-side with A Wasted Life, I believe, and pretty darn solid listen all the way through. You had Mike Campbell, Howie Epstein, Bentmont Trench, who comes up a lot in music that I listen to, and Stan Lynch. You also had Ron Blair and Phil Jones as additional fill-in musicians, kind of not really Heartbreakers, just kind of out there, maybe breaking a little hearts. And next, a better Tom Petty album, Southern Accents, like we were talking about. I got the Southern accent. I didn't think I had one. I was wrong. Let's see what we got. So Rebels was a really nice opener. And one song that just really was a big part of my childhood is Don't Come Around Here No More, Whatever You're Looking For. Man, that song just, and it came out months before I was born. But I just remember growing up with this music video. Came out in February of '85. I came out in October of '85. It was the lead single of Southern Accents. And it was a romantic encounter that producer David A. Stewart of the Eurythmics had with Stevie Nicks of Fleetwood Mac. That's interesting. On the Howard Stern show, I'm getting this from Wikipedia, Stewart explained that the title's phrase was actually uttered by Stevie Nicks. Man, Stevie Nicks has a lot of songs written about her. She is a heartbreaker, if there ever was one. She can go her own way. She can call it another day. Another lonely day. You can go your own way. Go your own way. Oh man, there's a lot of drug use. You need to look up this story. Reminiscent of the music video. Reminiscent of Alice in Wonderland. Nicks and Stewart heard Nicks throwing Walsh out, telling him, "Don't come around here no more." Wow, I got to tell my dad about that. My dad loves Fleetwood Mac, and he loves Tom Petty. It's pretty cool. I got to make a note of this real quick. Music nerd for life. No More is about Stevie Nicks' Gigi. There, let's get back on track, shall we? We got to get back on track with the discography of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Okay, so we went through, we are at Southern Accents, which I absolutely adored. There are 3 more Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers albums that are the best of the best. Let's just get right into it, shall we? Okay, so I would say this next one would probably be a lot of people's top pick. It's a great, great debut. I absolutely love it. It's got a lot of great songs that are about, gosh, 9, 10 years older than me. You had the singles Breakdown, American Girl, Anything That's Rock and Roll in the UK, and Rockin' Around With You in Germany. And it was a lot of success. The reviews were extremely good. The worst one would be maybe a 6 out of 10. But Breakdown was probably the standout track for me. And, well, no, I take that back. I like Breakdown, but American Girl, she was an American girl. Have you guys ever dated American girls? Whoa, I have. I'm glad I had to reshoot this video. This one's getting weird. I like it. We are now at the number 2 Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers band album. And yeah, this is a one from the 90s. I had to kind of like look into this one a little bit. I do not like this album cover, but I love this album. Into the great wide open. 7 singles. Oh man, so a lot of these are canned music at Home Depot. I hear them a lot when I'm in Home Depot. Learning to Fly. Every song that's called Learning to Fly is great. Learning to fly, but I ain't got wings. Coming down is the hardest thing. The King's Highway. Tom Petty has a lot of songs with highway or kings, and I get confused with the King's Highway song and the Highways King and the King of the Highways and the Highway of the Kings. But the King's Highway is a pretty great track. Into the great wide open. Yeah, Learning to Fly and Into the Great Wide Open are the 2 best on the album. But you and I will meet again, making some noise, built to last, too good to be true, all the wrong reasons. Are you guys ready? I'm not even going to cut. My dog is going crazy over there. Hey, hey. Woo! Okay, so the number 1 Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers album of all time, and Space and Coffee, is just overwhelmingly. I usually have a really tough time ranking albums. It usually takes a whole lot of like, okay, they both have 7 songs that are great, but which of this song is this song better than this song? And then I got to do my mathematics and my percentages, and then like even sometimes the percentages I have to kind of go with my gut over percentages. Sometimes I try to stay with the percentages, And that's why I kind of do some weird rankings sometimes. But the Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, this album is the best all around. Best vocals, best guitars, drums, bass, keyboards, artwork. This album is iconic. Kind of like this video is going to be in 30 years or 40 years. Oh man, I miss Tom Petty so bad. Are you guys ready for the greatest Tom Petty album of all time? It's going to have to be. It's overwhelmingly. What is this? Darn the Torpedoes. I think that's a pretty popular opinion, right? I would say their debut and Darn the Torpedoes. It's gotta be like their two best albums. But this one, the singles, Don't Do Me Like That, Refugee, which is one of those songs my dad played Refugee non-stop when I was a kid, and I loved it. Here Comes My Girl. I think my dad may have skipped that one a bit, but I kind of fell in love with that one later on in life. And Even the Losers, I fell in love with that one later in life as well. This was ranked number 313 on the Rolling Stones 500 Greatest Albums of All Time, and 315 in the revised edition in 2012. We got, let's just dive into Darn the Torpedoes. There were some contract issues with Tom Petty. Full Speed Ahead. So this one got generally favorable reviews. I think the worst review would have to be from the Rolling Stone Album Guide, oddly enough. Got a perfect review from Music Hound. The album was the breakthrough album for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Let's see what we got. What do they got? Album blah blah blah. It was their first top 10 album, rising to number 2 for 7 weeks, and kept from number 1 by Pink Floyd's The Wall, which is a great album. Tom Petty's response to Westwood One about being anchored at number 2 was, "I love Pink Floyd, but I hated them that year." That's interesting. You don't hear musicians talking about other bands a lot. For some reason, when rock stars get asked what they're listening to, they mostly just say rap, and then they don't answer the question. Like, what rapper? I don't want to talk about it. Stupid rock stars. But Tom Petty, digging the Pink Floyd. Pretty cool. Pretty cool, Tom. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So, do you guys agree that Darn the Torpedoes is the greatest Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers album of all time? And if you're wrong, tell me what your opinion is. Doing a whole lot of ranking the studio albums, guys, and I'm trying to do some more original content as well. The rankings are original. I think Saint Anger is Metallica's best album. I think that yeah, just go watch my other videos, guys. Like and subscribe, comment, and hit the notification bell on your way out. That does something for me, I guess. Subscribe is the big thing. I really want to get you specifically to subscribe. You right there. Hey, you right there. Subscribe. If you do that, if you want to. I personally, I don't hit the bell. I don't bang the gong. But I want you to, because I'm a hypocrite. And I want people to bang the gong, comment, subscribe, share, send me billions of dollars. Thank you. Goodbye.